Have you ever noticed how the proudest people are often the most isolated? Imagine this, a man in a sharp suit, standing alone on a towering concrete pillar. He's so high up. He's surrounded by clouds. He looks down on the world below with a sneer, a king of his own tiny, lonely kingdom. The world around him is a mix of muted blues and grays, cold and desolate. This image, stark and hyper-realistic, captures the very essence of pride. It builds a pedestal so high that it separates us from everyone else. Pride whispers that you're better off alone, that you're above it all. But in reality, you're just trapped, with no one to share your victories or catch you when you fall. It's a self-imposed exile, a fortress built not to keep others out, but to keep you in. We think pride makes us strong, but it's just making us lonely. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a truly happy person who was consumed by their own ego? The higher the pedestal, the harder the fall, and the more alone you are when it happens. Now, let's explore how pride blinds us. Picture a room made entirely of mirrors. A woman stands in the center, staring at her own reflection. But this isn't a normal reflection. It's warped, distorted, magnified. It's so consuming that it completely blocks her view of everything else. The world outside the reflection simply ceases to exist for her. This is what pride does. It creates a funhouse mirror of our own self-importance. We become so fixated on this inflated version of ourselves that we lose all perspective. We can't see the needs of others, we can't accept constructive criticism, and we can't see our own flaws. It's like living in a psychological thriller where the villain is our own ego. The lighting is dim, the atmosphere is tense, because living in this state is a constant, draining battle to maintain a false image. We become deaf to advice and blind to reality. Pride convinces us that our reflection is the only thing that matters. But in doing so, it traps us in a dark, lonely room with only a distorted version of ourselves for company. We stop learning, we stop growing, and we stop connecting. So what happens when this fragile construct of pride finally shatters? The consequence is always collapse. Imagine a magnificent golden statue, gleaming and seemingly indestructible. It represents the ego we've built up, the monument to our own greatness. But then, in slow motion, a tiny crack appears. It spiders across the surface, and then the entire statue begins to crumble. It doesn't just break, it disintegrates into a cloud of fine dust. We watch as these tiny golden particles float aimlessly in a single beam of light. This is the inevitable end of unchecked pride. It's fragile. The ego, for all its posturing and arrogance, is incredibly brittle. It can be shattered by a single failure, a single criticism, a single moment of realizing we're not as perfect as we thought. The collapse is often dramatic and devastating, leaving nothing but dust and the hollow space where our ego used to be. It's a powerful reminder that anything built on a foundation of arrogance is destined to fall apart. The very thing we thought made us strong and permanent is revealed to be as fleeting as dust in the wind. After the collapse, after the pride has crumbled to dust, what comes next? Is it just emptiness? No doubt it's the opportunity for resolution, for humility. Imagine a scene flooded with warm, gentle light. The cold blues and grays are gone. Sunlight is breaking through the clouds. In this serene atmosphere, we see a close-up, not of a face looking down on others, but of hands. One person is kneeling, carefully and gently helping someone else tie their shoelace. It's a simple, quiet act of service. There's no audience, no applause. It's an act born not out of a desire for recognition, but out of genuine care. This is the beauty of humility. It's recognizing that our worth isn't determined by how high we can climb, but by how low we're willing to stoop to lift someone else up. Humility isn't about thinking less of yourself. It's about thinking of yourself less. It reconnects us to the world and to each other. It replaces the cold isolation of pride with the warmth of human connection. After the statue of ego has crumbled, we find that the ground it stood on is fertile soil, ready for something real and lasting to grow. Let's bring these ideas together. The journey from pride to humility is a universal human story. We start on that lonely pillar, believing our own hype. We convince ourselves that our success, our intelligence, our appearance makes us superior. We become trapped in that room of mirrors, obsessed with our own reflection, blind to the world and the people in it. We can't hear their warnings, and we can't see their outstretched hands. We believe our golden statue is eternal, but life has a way of introducing cracks. A project fails, a relationship ends. We face a challenge we can't overcome on our own, and that's when the crumbling begins. The slow motion collapse of the ego is painful. It feels like losing a part of ourselves because in a way, we are losing the false self we so carefully constructed. And in that moment of devastation, when we are nothing but dust floating in a sunbeam, we have a choice. We can try to rebuild the same fragile statue, or we can embrace the fall. We can choose humility. We can choose to kneel down and help someone with something as simple as a shoelace. This act of helping, this simple gesture of service, is where true strength is found. The warm light, the soft focus, it all signifies a shift in perspective. We're no longer looking down from a great height or inward at a distorted reflection. We're looking at another human being, and we're connecting with them. Humility breaks the chains of isolation. It opens our eyes to the world beyond our own ego. It allows us to build relationships that are real and supportive, not based on status or power. Think about the most respected and loved people you know. Are they the ones constantly broadcasting their own achievements? Or are they the ones who listen, who help, who admit when they're wrong, and who celebrate the successes of others? Pride builds walls, while humility builds bridges. The journey from that cold, gray pillar to that warm, sunlit act of kindness is the most important journey any of us can take. It's the path from a fragile, lonely existence to a strong, connected, and meaningful life. It's about trading a crumbling golden statue for the unbreakable bond of human connection. So, how do we apply this in our daily lives? It starts with small shifts in mindset. When you achieve something, who do you share the credit with? When someone offers you feedback, do you get defensive, or do you listen for the truth in it? When you see someone struggling, is your first instinct to judge them or to help them? These are the daily crossroads between pride and humility. Choosing humility doesn't mean you can't be confident or proud of your work. It means your confidence isn't dependent on feeling superior to others. True confidence is quiet. It's the person kneeling to tie a shoe who has nothing to prove. The person on top of the pillar is screaming for validation. Every day, we have the choice to step out of the room of mirrors. We can turn our gaze away from our own reflection and look at the person next to us. Ask them how they're doing and really listen to the answer. Offer help without expecting anything in return. Admit a mistake. This is how we dismantle the statue of ego, piece by piece, before it has a chance to collapse on its own. It's how we trade the cold isolation of the pillar for the warmth of the sun. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that explores the deeper aspects of our human experience. See you next time.